Hello and welcome to another reverse engineering in Rhino tutorial. No plugins on this one, and in this tutorial we're going to be reverse engineering this 3D scan of a helicopter part. Not really sure what it is. It was actually a scan job that I completed for a client, scanning only, and sent them the file. Guess a manifold of some kind. Well, anyway, I'm taking sections from it there using the section command. Now just going to loft said sections. So that I think I probably selected them all and made sure they're closed. You can see over on the right hand side of my screen I've pulled up the help panel for you there, and it's got the live update, so everything I do it kind of pops up. I actually moved the seam down to the bottom there as well. So taking a few more sections here again. Same deal, put them on their own layer. Okay, some of them need fixing, so I'm just kind of cutting little bits out of them using the blend curve command, and yeah, doing a loft. Move that seam down to the bottom, there we go. Right, and then looking at the scan, man, that's got a few marks on it. I guess that's why they couldn't use it on the helicopter anymore. Looks like the surface of the moon. It's a nice scan. You know, even just a scan like this would probably be pretty taxing on a program like Fusion 360 or SolidWorks, but it's just a walk in the park for Rhino. So I think in the end I rebuilt these curves using the rebuild command. You can see there I have, and then did a loft. That mottled white and red look there means that your surfaces are pretty much exactly on the scan. So I grabbed some of those points and moved them down kind of to match the scan data, just kind of freestyling there, just feeling the scan and kind of going with it. So just trimming that out. Okay, now we need a bit of a fillet there, so I've tried a few different things, but in the end I think I got no idea what I did. In the end I made a pipe there, and I used the pipe to create a line on both the surfaces, and then I trimmed the pipe. So just move the seam there. Looks like I'm rebuilding the surface just to get it a bit smoother. Maybe I went and made a cup of tea here at this point. Okay, we're back. Alright, so just trying to join it all together, capping it, rebuilding that pipe as well, just to get any of those little imperfections out. Still looking good against the scan. Okay, so now time to take care of this weird little bit. I think I got stuck on this actually. Sometimes that happens, I just kind of get stuck on a particular piece, because there's so many different ways you can do these things. I think the trick is just keep trying. Looks like I ended up making a little surface here and trying to trim it with the surface. This happened partially because the scan wasn't really that well aligned. There you go, it worked. Okay, great. Okay, and then I just capped it, but then I uncapped it, and I extended it a little bit. There we go. So, still not great, but you see I've now trimmed it. There we go. But the trim line's a bit wonky, so what I do here is rebuild that intersecting line, turn it into a pipe, then use the pipe to intersect the two surfaces, select those lines and trim the surface out with that, and then use the blend surface command, lining the seam up there and splitting the edges. So use the blend surface command to join them back together. There we go. And you could always watch this video back a bit slower, and you can totally see what commands I'm using there on the right hand side in that help panel. So now I'm just sectioning this, and instead of lofting it all together, what we're going to do is loft it in sections. Well, only after I figured out that was what I wanted to do, because you can see when you loft it in one piece you kind of lose the transitions. So I loft that piece first and then that piece. I just copied that one forward so we can make a surface there. Okay, now we go for a blend surface and a blend surface there. Delete that end bit, and there we go. Now I wasn't really sure what to do about here because the scan data was a bit dodgy, so I think I extended it, and later on in the video I trimmed that off there. Okay, so we'll just join these guys up together. So you can see that surface has a little split in it, so I have to match the split on the other surface. Okay, we'll repeat the process somewhat here. Take a few sections. The first section always takes a while when you're sectioning a mesh, and then after that they're really quick. It's something to do with the way that it processes the intersections. Okay, so isolate the sections on the curve layer. Now I select all the curves that I think look good, and I'm going to lock them, and then I'm going to do a box select and get rid of the not so good ones. There you go, see? Now I'm going to use the blend curve to connect the lines back together, except for that line which looks a bit weird, so I use a 3-point curve to try and make some sense of it. Blend those ones together. Okay, start doing a bit of lofting. Blend surface there between those two. Yeah, I guess that looks okay. Extrude that edge forward and a blend surface between those two. Or actually I think I did a cap. There we go. So cap and a cap. Just a bit of surface joining or intersecting, figuring out the right way to do it. Even for me, sometimes still I have to try something, see that it doesn't quite work, go back a few steps using the old Control-Z, try again, and yeah, just keep working my way through it. Okay, so we got 2 of the end caps. Looks like I wasn't happy with that. Oh yeah, okay, couldn't blend surface to that because it was capped, but now we can. It's a bit messy, but it'll be okay for now. Alright, turn the mesh layer back on, so it's looking pretty good, to be honest. I don't know if I'll worry about that bit, so I'm going to make a line there and going to trim it. And I think at some point I later decide that I'm not quite happy with that line, and I actually retrim it again. Oh, there you go. Checking it against that one. There we go. Okay, final bit, we're going to take a few sections. This was a bit of a funny one because the sections were on an angle, but in the end I thought, oh well, you know, it's only a demo video. But then again, that said, you'll see at the end when we check the tolerance, it's all within tolerance, so if you were, say, 3D printing this part, it would be fine for that, and it wouldn't be too much cleanup just to get it ready for manufacture. Okay, so I extended the surface there and I trimmed it with a line, turned the mesh off, but I'm still not happy with it, so made a few little modifications. That was a blend surface with tangency. Okay, so now I run the point deviation command, which took about 5 minutes to generate, and you can see it's pretty good. We're pretty well within 0.1 of a millimeter in most places. Now, I lied earlier, I am going to use a plugin. I'm I'm just going to use the mesh to surface deviation analyzer quickly, because it's also a good visual for seeing the tolerance. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. There's the mesh to surface analyzer. That's the only time you really need to use these plugins. Hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you for your attention.